we've got the same thing coming up again with the DA mod. But let's have a look. I'm cheating because I know this is the right one. I did have to go through them all. Yeah, and there's a newsletter there from the Royal Pioneer Corps Association dated February 2004. So let's see if we can find anything to do with our chapel. Nothing so far. It's what the pioneers did on D-Day. We can't see that. So we know that they landed on D-Day and the pioneers landed on D-Day. So if we go down there, we'll come to a list of all the companies that landed. So there's Gold Beach, it was in King section, and it's the 50th Northumbrian Division that landed. Right, so to go with the first tide, 243 company of the pioneers went with 961 Inland Waterway and Transport Company. And there was part of the 30 Corps, which is a group bigger than the division, yeah. And there was in Rhino. What's a Rhino? I thought, yeah. So we go in there, and then I thought to myself, well, let's just see what 243 could be in, because I have gone through this a lot slower and found out who did what when. Who did what? There's a lot of things about rhinos. And there's 243 company. They participated in the Sicilian landing in July 43, and then in Italy. Returned to the UK, so it was a very experienced group of guys. And on the 3rd of June, they embarked and transshipped to the rhinos, and we had some manning operations. 15 crews for King Beach and 7 crews for Mike, and spare crews and admin staff. This embarkation was hindered by the state of the sea and being dependent on showroom and safety for landing, which took place at various times. Now, one of the things that I do know about that particular beach, Gold Beach, is the fact that that bad weather saved so many men's lives. It was silly. Because what happened was the landing ship's tanks that was going in the first wave, just prior to the rhinos, had these odd tanks on that could float. It was like the funny tanks, yeah? But the weather was that bad, they couldn't let the tanks out into the water to float, because they'd already had reports from further up the coast where the Americans had landed, is that they were sinking in the bad weather, yeah? So what they did was, they drove the landing craft tanks straight into the beach, and landed all the tanks straight onto the beach, and the tanks just sat on the beach, blew up all the German machine gun positions. But the assault craft that was carrying the assault troops was having hard time in the weather, and it was a good 20 minutes before they could land. But by this time, the tanks had took out all the machine guns and some of the artillery that was close to the beach. So they actually landed and just walked up the beach. So when they walked up the beach, the next thing to come in was the rhinos. And a rhino was a great big flat barge that was loaded with tanks and ammunition and things like that. And I thought to myself, oh, well, that sounds about right. And they started taking things in, and a number of rhinos was put out of action by standing beach obstacles and mines. Several people, it says Private Cherry there, I do now know, but several people was killed after a mine exploded underneath a rhino that was loaded with ammunition and petrol. So somebody saw somebody jump in the water on fire. Well, that's the story is now coming to light.